Alright dudes, what's going on? Gonna try to get through this really quick, or as quickly as I possibly can. So I like being right, and as you guys know, I did a video a long while back about the truth about misandry today. And in that video I mentioned stuff about DDJ stealing APOC's truck, living in Cassandra Toy's property without paying rent, tricking her mother, or manipulating, however you want to look at it, her mother into paying for his groceries, and just being an all-around bum and scum. So sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you don't say. And let's get into that. So let's look at the screenshots that we took here. Some of it's by her because she commented, and some of it's by me. On his, this is from his takedown video of Donovan Sharp. So let's begin. So right off the bat, she says, "I'm no fan of Donovan Sharp, but I wonder what the charges are for auto theft, living off an old woman's food without paying, borrowing money and never paying. What kind of person is this?" Now, this is, of course, the really short version of the stuff that he was doing. But yeah, Cassandra was really nice and paid for a lot of his stuff because probably, I'm going to assume, because he was pretending he just had no money and he's so poor. And you know, it probably is true, actually. That part is probably true. I just find it funny that he's, you know, he at the time he was going on the TFM show and talking about how successful and wealthy and good looking and all this shit, you know, he was saying about himself, and telling these impressionable men that they should be like him. And then, you know, the reality is 180 degrees from what he was talking about. He's a fucking bum, just moving from grift to grift. So that's the short version. But then she says something about this, most likely the same person that took down TFM took down Donovan. I'm not so sure about this, but this may just be sort of bait that she's putting out there. But if anyone, it's probably either ADJ or the Black Pill guys who got Donovan's channel taken down, but it is back as far as I know. So whoever that was, they failed. All right, so this is the part where he says that she was supposed to pay him for legal services rendered, which I'm going to be doing a my guilty grift video on Slabo here. And a lot of my focus is going to be on his complete lack of understanding of the paralegal trade, and that right there is a big part of it. So I'm not going to get into that here and now, but this is where he accuses her of cheating on her husband with no evidence. The only evidence that he has is she didn't answer the phone one time when he called her. And we're going to get into the explanation of why this is a big deal to him and why he called so many times and stuff like that a little bit later. Again, sorry to make you guys wait for the goods. We will get there, trust me. We will get there. All right, so for some reason he wants to be compensated because he was living in the same house as Cassandra's elderly mother. And for some reason he believes that warrants some sort of compensation, even though he was living there for free. I'm as confused as you are. But this is where it gets really hilarious. Tries to kill them by sabotaging the brake lines in their car. Now, it wasn't a car, it was actually a truck, the one that was stolen. And so, those of you who are mechanically inclined, I want you to consider something. So if he drove APOC's truck from Central South Carolina to Orlando, Florida to go see Anthony Dream Johnson, and he claims that during this trip he had sabotaged brake lines. Now, those of us who are mechanically inclined understand that if you have something fucked with your brake lines, you're probably going to realize that really, really early when you're driving, especially if you go on the highway. But just you're gonna find out like, oh shit, my brakes aren't really working very quickly. But somehow this is supposed to be real. And it sounds like he's been watching too many fucking movies or playing too many video games where just unreal shit like this happens. In an effort to dox and conduct a multi-year campaign of full-spectrum warfare through easily manipulated, weak-willed men, he's trying to say that's me. And you doxed yourself, retard. You just did a video today where you said that you doxed yourself, you fucking imbecile. And somehow that's hypergamy, which, wrong. But I will respond to your accusations again here in a bit. We'll get to it. Some of this stuff is really interesting that I didn't necessarily know, or an accusation. You move from one grift to another, preying on the vulnerable, which we all know. That's what he does. He's also mentally ill. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm no doctor. I'm not diagnosing him, but if I was a betting man, I'd say DDJ is fucking mentally ill. And a lot of people don't understand that because they've only really watched his scripted videos where he's trying to talk all, proper. And, when you actually talk to the guy behind the scenes, if you're not retarded, you usually figure out that something's off about this dude. But we'll get to that. I actually happen to have a whole large collection of his writings to thoughts. Brings up that he was borrowing money, cash for a trip to impress your very gullible friends, and trying to destroy a marriage, which is her marriage. Faking a car problem, yeah, that's what I just brought up. Borrowing $600 for plane tickets. Already brought up the food thing. Also know who she's talking about. He tried to tell another person he was living with that he should also get in on the free grocery grift. Yes, his son also did live there for a time as well. Didn't pay shit. And I will also be leaving the link to this in the description if you guys want to check this out for yourselves. It's a lot of reading, but it's very interesting. Yes, there was no police report for the sabotaged brake lines, and there was no evidence that the brake lines were ever sabotaged. And when he was asked to provide evidence from a mechanic about what was going on with the truck, he refused that as well. Go figure. Imagine my shock. Okay, she's spurging out on him, but she's not wrong. Running out of income because you turned on another best friend. She's talking about TFM. Just to impress your new victims, whoever would listen to them. About, we covered this. If you want to get into that, I suggest you watch some of my videos. I've already extensively covered his betrayal of TFM. Yes, she is correct about the legal fees, but we're not gonna. Again, I don't want to get into that. All right, I just thought this was ironic. He hates liars and grifters, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm digressing. So after this comment, rather than say anything about how none of this was true, or this isn't true, or that's not true, or this may be true, but, or, maybe not talking about how he's not a thief, he just goes ahead and shadow bans her because he doesn't have an argument. He knows he's wrong. All right, so we're about to get into a more fun part. He calls me a cuck here because I mentioned that I'm more interested in his criminal record than Donovan's, because I told him those in glass houses should not throw stones. Very good phrase. The two-faced cuck is back. Now that's really hilarious. I should have pulled some of those screenshots. So he's calling me two-faced because I have, at the time, there was a time when some people were telling me, well, something's fucked up with DDJ. And then DDJ's telling me something completely different. And you know how it is when two acquaintances or friends are talking shit about each other and you don't know what the truth is. You want the evidence, right? So here's what ended up happening was one side gives me evidence and the other just says, well, take my word for it. This is true. So which one are you going to believe if you have, 100 plus IQ? You're probably going to go with the evidence, like he says right here, the side of verifiable facts. Well, guess what? I took the side of verifiable facts because I have emails about the legal work that you didn't do that were sent to your attorney. Also, his responses, the attorney that you work for. I have those in my possession. So keep running your fucking mouth and trying to lie because I have the proof. But anyways, let's address the weak-willed and the cuck and all this stuff. First of all, you don't know fuck all about me. I'm actually very, very strong-willed because if I wasn't, I would have already come and paid you a visit, which you would not have fucking enjoyed. All right, and another thing is you're obese and I'm not, so maybe you're the one who's weak-willed when it comes to stuff on your fucking face. Anyways, so I remind him that he's a two-faced fraud, liar, shill. And I remind him that I have the evidence of this that I just spoke of before. And he decided to shadow ban me rather than form any sort of response. That's always been how it is. It's like, you don't have any evidence, so, hide it or block or run away. So let's address the purple pill, power bottom, cuck, weak will bullshit. Here's a reminder. All right. DDJ, so can I ask you, are you a fan of breakfast in bed? Roseblades, I don't know. I've never tried it. DDJ, clearly the man, you meant men, around you haven't been treating you right. Breakfast in bed is important. So what are you implying here? Are you implying that a man should serve Roseblades breakfast in bed, sir? Does that sound like something a MGTOW monk, a red-pilled MGTOW monk is going to tell a woman? That she should be served breakfast in bed? Really? All right. I remember MGTOW monks, they don't really, flirt with women and they just want nothing to do with women. Right? This one was back in 2017 when he first started. The TFM show was several months before this. I think it was in August 2017. I could be wrong. I have to look again. I am capable of being wrong about that. All right. So how about this fun one right here? DDJ, I miss being home. Roseblades, poor DDJ, laugh out loud. DDJ, I need snuggles and rough sex. Laugh out loud. Roseblades, laugh out loud. Bless you. DDJ, I'm sleepy. When I get home, I'm stealing you for a day. Oh, God. Continuing the conversation. DDJ, laugh out loud. Gonna nap now. Roseblades, oh, come and join me. I'm napping too, laugh out loud. DDJ, then neither of us would sleep. Sounds like a MGTOW monk to me. Over here cucking and simping and doing all that fun stuff with Roseblades of all people. No offense, Rosie. Interesting conversation here. But we'll probably have to skip to the bottom. Oh yeah, this is another instance. This is Cassandra, by the way, one of her other names. My friend told me he never slept with married women, then hit on me for over a year, stating he was 100% positive I would one day. Very interesting, because this is a guy talking about how she cheated on her husband. You mean you wanted her to cheat on her husband with you, right, Slabo? Very interesting stuff, isn't it? When he finally realized it was never going to happen, he got furious and left after telling my husband that I slept with his best friend. Before he left, he bragged he was going to sleep with a new co-worker in an attempt to make her jealous. Probably never happened. I'll put that in things that never happened for 200, Alex. Okay. Fascinating stuff. All right, so now we're getting into where Lily Even 32, who was his Q&A thought for a while, and Rose are having a nice little discussion. She tells Rose that, let's see here. Yeah, I just wanted you to know he wanted me to come to the US too, and he was major creepy. MGTOW monk, like, hey, come from Australia to the US. And I've also heard that he wanted to go there, and some other interesting stuff. We're just going to work with what's on the screen. And major creepy, Lily Even 32. Oh, fascinating. Did DDJ ever try to turn you against the others in our old group? That's what he tried to do to me. Not quite. It was more like he tried to stop me from talking to others about anything, if that makes sense. That and the weird sexual innuendos all the time. Huh, interesting. So I think the best stuff is at the bottom, because there's this more backstabby stuff, and eventually she posts a conversation between her and DDJ where he just gets into this word salad, and he's whining and crying about how he got hurt because she wasn't giving him her time and she was talking to other people. You have to read it if you're inclined to read it. It's really, really interesting. So I wonder who the purple pill power bottom is here. Because it sure as fuck isn't me. You won't see any screenshots about me simping and cucking the Roseblades. Or Lily Even 32, or any thought for that fucking matter. You won't see that shit, but we sure as fuck got it from you, don't we? Alright, let's skip down to the bottom. I think the last three are pretty fucking damning. Alright. Yeah. We're at the right spot. Alright, this is where her dyslexia kicks in, but Roseblades, that is. I see, so something about with a relationship with him, then it ended after the drama. And Lily says, had a relationship with him, you mean? Nope, but I could tell from the way he spoke to me that he wanted one, so I used it against him. Like a thought, but still. He fell for it. This is MGTOW master, red-pilled MGTOW monk, DDJ. He's showing them thoughts, isn't he? It's not the nicest thing I've ever done. It was pretty petty of me, actually. I just wanted to lash out after everything. When I say a relationship, I mean an online one where he thought you loved him. To be honest, he should have known better. No shit. Leave it to a thought to point that out. Lily says, oh, he thought I loved him for ages, and he teased me about it and say that I was too damaged to admit it, which is why it was such a great weapon to use later, in my mind anyways. Yeah, he was way too old, but I think he liked the idea of bragging about being able to get a 22-year-old at his age, so he kept pushing it like it was actually something when it really wasn't. And I recall him on the Red Man group with DDJ talking about how these young ladies can't keep their hands off of him. That's what's so fucking amusing when you're seeing like the pictures and shit of this guy, what he actually looks like. And believe me, the stuff I have of him on my channel, he's even fatter now than in those pictures. Like, he's even more obese. And that's coming from the people he lived with. She says, when I mean age, I mean he has the life experience and maturity. It's not that uncommon for someone his age being with a much younger woman. Most of the time, though, his money is secure and DDJ's isn't, which is true. He's a fucking bum. He does have himself a sugar daddy now, but for the most part, he's a bum. He's not able to produce wealth on his own. He always needs someone to help him or to live off of somebody else because he's a fucking bum. She says, Lily says, I don't know if I'd call him blue-pilled purely because I've had some changes of opinion since leaving the MGTOW stuff, I guess. I don't really believe in red pill, blue pill stuff. I'd call him more just someone who thinks he can walk the walk but can't. He wants to play up alpha male, as in show that he doesn't need women, but that he can still have them if he wants. When the truth is, he can't. Anyone would look at him and get weird vibes instantly, so he's got to pretend to be a gentleman to get interest, which I'm sure would work to some degree. Yeah, for a purple pill power bottom. So that's what you're saying. He runs purple pill power bottom game. And Rose's final question here. You mean he's an incel? Alright, so this has gone on much longer than I had planned, but I'm going to leave this link in the description. Read it if you're inclined to do so. Enjoy the word salad. But thank you guys for watching. Again, I will be destroying this guy, taking him apart in the legal stuff in another video. For now, I'm just showing off that he's a liar, a thief, and he is, in fact, a purple pill power bottom. Later, dudes. Alright, I realized as I was getting ready to render this that I'd forgot something important, so I'm going to go over that real quick. I know this video is already too long. So, something Lily Even 32 pointed out that I've been talking about for a long time. She says, I think he got really upset anytime a girl he thought he had control over was talking to other guys. And that is so on point, because that is something I observed, and he was like that with Cassandra, he was like that with Roseblades, and of course he was like that with Lily Even 32. So again, ask yourself, is that red pill, internally validated, MGTOW monk behavior? Alright, and keep in mind, these are women that he's not like sleeping with or anything like that. People that are either his landlady or, you know, girls on the internet from foreign countries. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I had to get that in there before I close this out. All right, this time I'm out for real.